through enduring hardships. The tears of pain I shed today will be the tears of joy I shed tomorrow. The brave never fall. We rise and maintain balance through freedom and connection. I'm Coach mjdtiger, life coach and mentor. Helping others find their passion, peace, and purpose in life brings me my passion, peace, and purpose in life. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Welcome to Vibes. Nothing is more contagious than a genuine smile upon the face of a positive person. Grateful vibes only, no drama. Peace is heaven in our hearts. Peace is happiness. Happiness is a priceless gift we should give ourselves each day. We want to be that positive, contagious element that will make anyone smile, whether we want to or not. Even the people who are the most introverted, the ones that withdraw within themselves, if they're positive, something will inevitably rub off. The effect of a positive person, a person with positive vibes, whether they say a word, whether they are motionless, it's just something about them that screams, I want to be aligned with this person. The connection to them will seem genuine and real. Nothing forced, nothing unnatural, real. And that's what we're looking for. Genuine within ourselves. Knowing ourselves. Values, morals, principles, who we are. The consistency of who we are. Every day, no matter what's happening. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We are always there. Reliable, consistent. That is what good vibes is all about. That's what being a good person with positive energy is all about. We have our dark days, we have our dark moments, our dark thoughts, feelings. That should not override and overshadow the fact that within us is light. We just need to show it. We just need to allow it to shine. And we can't do that if we're hiding, especially if we're hiding from ourselves. We have to be present in the moment for ourselves, and we will inevitably have an impact on others. Those are the vibes that we want. How are you feeling? How are you feeling mentally, within your mind? How are you feeling physically, throughout your body? How are you feeling emotionally, within your heart? How are you feeling spiritually, within your soul? These are things I ask myself daily, morning, noon, and night, whenever I have to, especially when I lay my head down for peaceful and hopefully powerful sleep. I ask myself, mind, body, heart, and soul, how I am feeling. And I encourage you in this moment, take a moment for yourself, a moment of silence, and ask yourself, how are you feeling? crossroads moments. Love is not always within the eyes of the beholder. Heartwarming feelings inside get hotter as the world gets colder. We reflect the shine we create as each day we get older. No mistaken knowing before we die we lived our lives faithfully. Free, brave, emboldened. Our lives too precious to ignore. When we're here on purpose, we own this. Life is a gift. We are here now in the moment. We've been chosen, uniquely envisioned. Every atom of us is evidence. On the eve of greatness, heaven sent. From our first breath at birth, forever grateful ever since. We impact the world with our presence. You are here now. This is your moment. Own it. Because it's on purpose. You are on purpose. You're here. Make the best of it. Nothing else matters. Episode 12, Vibes. This has been a very fun journey for me, creating this 12-part podcast series, Encouragement for You Today, Vibes podcast, mainly because of the journey from the first episode all the way up into this one. I've had quite a bit of things change in my life. And it was me wanting to not only focus on good vibes, positive vibes, but I wanted to also make sure that it was never going to leave me again. We do a lot of things in life where we'll feel good for a moment and then that moment is fleeting and it's gone. And then we're left with the aftermath of the letdown of wanting that back. And no matter what we do, we won't be able to get that back. And that quote unquote, that back could be anything. Person, place, or thing. And I've lost a lot through those three things. You know, in the past few months, I've lost people that I've had to let go, or people that had to say goodbye for whatever reasons. And also places that I have been, that I've worked at, and that I've had to endure whether I wanted to or not. And the things that I know I needed to get rid of, things I know I need to obtain. When you start looking at things in pockets and sections, you know, we as humans, we do everything, you know, increments of time from day to week, seasons. I tend to think of things more seasonal and long term. I don't tend to look at things daily. I tend to look at things yearly, but not annually, if that makes any sense. I'm looking at long term, long form things. You know, to me, December and January, doesn't matter what year they are, it's just a continuation. But I think in big chunks. So that helps me. You know, a calendar helps me, obviously. It helps everyone, but it really helps me just to focus in, okay, your brain is wanting to go to December, but right now it's April. So that is the song and dance that we play within our minds every single day as individuals. But one constant thread that we want through there is what type of person we are every single day, no matter what season it is, no matter what day it is. What type of vibes do we have? And vibes is a word that has become popular, obviously, over the last 10, 20 years. And it's very interesting because one person's vibes has nothing to do with another person's person's vibes, but we are asked and a lot of times forced to interact with other people no matter what their vibes are. So the question is what are vibes? If you look it up, it's a person's emotional state or the atmosphere of a place as communicated to and felt by others. That's a mouthful. A person's emotional state or the atmosphere of a place as communicated to and felt by others. Now think of those words, communicate and felt. So that means what we're speaking and our actions, and how somebody else interprets that. Atmosphere. Atmosphere is very much an interpretation. Emotional state, interpretation. These are things that no matter what we do, somebody else or a group of people are going to interpret who we are and what we're doing through their eyes. Which brings us back to us. Our vibes are entirely on us, and we have absolutely no control how other people see or feel our vibes. We have no control how they hear us, how they interact with us. We can only be us. So if we take them out of the equation, who are we? In each moment, we are in control of who we are. I find it hard to believe when people say, I'm not in control. You are in control. The question is, what are you going to do about it? We all get out of control. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to embrace the anger we may be feeling in the moment? Are we going to embrace the sorrow we may be feeling in the moment? Are we going to jettison the anger? Are we going to jettison the sorrow? Are we going to embrace the happiness, or are we going to jettison the happiness? These are choices based on clarity within ourselves in the moment. These are choices we have to make within the moment. Now, if we're the type of person that's going to inevitably be reduced to our raw emotions, the raw vibes, you wake up in the morning and you're not encouraged. You're not ready for the day. You are not focused. You are not disciplined. You're like, I am all out of whack. And then you go through the reasons why. A, B, and C is happening. They're not good. It's giving you anxiety. Maybe it already happened. It's giving you depression. We're not living in the moment at that moment. And it is very, very, very hard to stay in that moment when your mind is focused on things you have regret about, sorrow about, and is depressing you. And then at the same exact time, your mind is going forward and thinking about all the things you need to do in the next few hours, the next few days, the next year. And those two thoughts are colliding. They're interweaving in and out, but there is a point where those two are connecting. And that's the point where you need to focus on. That is the point where you are. That is the now. That is the present. And our brains and our hearts get lost so much in the past and the future that it's affecting our vibes in the moment now. Our atmosphere is cloudy. Our atmosphere is chaotic. Our atmosphere is storm-like. It's a volcano. It is not what we want to be. Or we are embracing it. Again, we have a choice. We're embracing that volcano and we're using it to our advantage and turning that negative into a positive. And that's something I think is healthy as well. When I get into those places where I feel like I'm waking up and I am the volcano, it is my duty and obligation to myself to turn that volcano into something dormant where it's just a mountain. I need to shut that lava down. I need to shut this down right now. And I need to turn this negative situation, this negative feeling, these negative vibes into positive. And that is at least the focus. Maybe you won't get completely there. Maybe you won't even get close. But the point is awareness. That moment is about awareness. It's about clarity enough to know that something is off and you are in the position to do something about it. It is the complete embrace of control rather than the feeling of not having it because you're in the past or in the future, which we do not have any control over. The moment is about control. Even if it's limited, it's still a positive because we can do something. Now that's where the real challenge comes. Do we even want to do something about it? Or are we going to let this snowball into something worse? Are we going to let this dormant mountain, it seems, turn into a erupting volcano and we're going to allow it to happen? We forfeit forfeit. We forfeit things when that happens. When we allow things to happen, when we could at least make an effort to change it, but we're not, we forfeit any excuse, any reason why we can't get things accomplished. I know for me, and this goes back into integrity, we've talked about that a lot in these 12 episodes, that how can I expect anyone to vibe with me and be aligned with me if I know deep down inside I'm not doing everything that I can to make myself better? I have to just zip it. I have to shut up and go away and figure my stuff out before I can even remotely think that I'm going to be aligned with people that are going to make me feel at peace. And that's what we're looking for. Peace. Even the most chaotic people at some point want a bit of rest. And rest means you want some peace. You want some quiet. You want something. You want things to calm down. You want that storm to subside. You want that volcano to go back to being dormant. But we can't get there if everything around us and everything that we do and every person we speak to and every single emotion we have, every raw emotion that we have, everything that comes at us is just bundled up into this fireball, and then we want to erupt. It's too late at that point. We have to be ahead of the curve. We have to allow the past to teach us the lessons we need to learn so that the next time these things pop up, we're ready. They're not such a surprise. They're not going to knock you on your butt and you stay there. Remember, this is the brave never fall. We rise and maintain balance. You rise when you know you have trust in yourself. When you can trust that in those moments where your vibes are off, where you're feeling as jacked up as you have ever felt, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, you're just not in a good place. That trust is the anchor. That trust is what's going to anchor you to the ground. And if you believe in a higher power, that trust is going to keep you anchored so you can look up without floating away and say, thank you. I'm grateful I'm still here. Gratefulness. Powerful term, powerful emotions that can center you. That always brings pleasant vibes. You have to ask yourself a question. Are you the type of person that really truly wants peace in your life? Or are you the type of person that enjoys a little bit of chaos because it motivates you to get stuff done? I know people who are successful both ways. This is about you and what you want. This isn't about me. This isn't about everyone else in your life. This is about your vibes. Ask yourself, what type of vibes do you think daily are consistent with you? And are you happy with that? Now just think about that. What type of vibes do you think you give off? It doesn't really matter if it's true or not. This is what you believe about yourself. Are your vibes positive, negative, neutral? On a consistent basis. We all have our ups and downs, but consistently, law of averages here. On average, what are your vibes? And are you happy with them? There are plenty of people out there, especially if you want to look at narcissism, we would classify it as negative vibes, and they're completely happy. To them, it's positive. So we are not the judges of other people's vibes. We are just the people who witness other people's vibes. And it's up to us to say, listen, that's part of something I want to be a part of, or I choose to walk away. If we choose to walk away, why are we walking away? Is it because we feel our vibes are in a good place, or we don't want to be influenced by these people to make our vibes go in a different direction? This is where alignment comes into play. When we align ourselves with people with frequencies, so to speak, vibes that are aligned with us, then of course we're going to have a smoother time without all the chaos, without all the static. If we're aligned with people who are constantly interfering and changing the station and the frequency and the wavelengths with this, it's chaotic. They may mean well, they may have good intentions, but at the end of the day, they are on the wrong frequency with you. Their vibes aren't matching up. You are not aligned. But guess what? That doesn't mean that you can't find the frequency. That doesn't mean that those frequencies can't align at some point. It's an adjustment. An adjustment. The question is, do you want to adjust to these people, to this place, to these things? Because a lot of people in our lives may or may not have the same view on life as you do. Some people are deep thinkers. Some people just do whatever. Some people love hard. Some people just say, hey, I'm good with just interacting. I don't need to love. I just need to be liked. Some people need a lot of interaction and reassurance. Some people don't need any. So we're constantly involved with so many different people that the only way we really can interact with the people, places, and things in our life that come and go, and some are here to stay, is to know ourselves. And to know ourselves is to know, where can we find our center? On a daily basis, the law of averages, consistency, discipline with who we are. Can we be disciplined with our very presence? Can we adjust to the ups and downs of life when they're thrown at us? Are we strong enough to jettison people, places, and things that aren't on our frequency? Especially if they're starting to become a detriment in our life and they're starting to drag us down and, potentially another way, severing your anchor and having you just float off the planet because we can't trust them. And that's something each and every individual on this planet, every person that has been born and has to live their life, these are just things that I think the more we think about all the interactions and all the people, places, and things that we have to deal with just in a 10-year lifespan, from age birth to 10, look at all the people you could possibly meet that could make your life so much different than the life you live now. And you have no real control over it at that point because we have people making decisions for us, parents and influencers and teachers and mentors. And, it's just all these people in our lives that all the way up until we're actually adults at 18, that's almost 20 years of being not in complete control of your life. It's amazing we even get to adulthood with any sanity when you think about it. But that's because we trust people. We trust people. We had no choice but to trust. And if we didn't trust, we trusted ourselves even when we didn't trust ourselves. And think about how crazy that is. And I grew up like this. I had to trust myself when I didn't trust anybody else. And I didn't trust myself. But I had to have trusted myself enough or I wouldn't be here. So even without knowing, I think deep down inside, there is always going to be some level of trust for us until that spark goes out. And then a lot of people do, things to their lives that, are very sad and tragic. There are people in their lives and people, vanish into obscurity and don't want any part of life. And that's perfectly fine. That is their decision. But that is the dark parts of human nature. Those are the parts that I think deep down inside is the reason why we trust ourselves as much as we do as individuals. It's because there is something in us each day that makes us want to keep going. And as long as we're going, that is still a positive, even if we don't recognize it to be. Even if it's a 1% positive out of 99% negative, there's still a positive there. Now that negative might go, that positive might turn into a negative at some point. You may go all the way into the red and be -1, -2%. People do it all the time. But when we're aware of what we're doing, when we have the opportunity to change something, to fix something, to say, hey, if this is what I want for myself, if this is what I want for my life, if this is something that I want to change and enhance, if I want to keep these people in my life, if I want to obtain these goals, if I want to do the things in my life that I feel will make me the happiest and the most at peace, that clarity, that awareness, that positivity is something that no one can take away from you, because technically you can do this on your own. And I was just talking to a good friend right before I recorded this podcast, and we were talking about how do you find the center of yourself. And still be connected to the rest of the world? And I was asked this, and my answer was simple. When you view yourself as an island, if you were stranded alone on an island, and let's just say you and the island become one, so to speak, because it's just you and the island. And this goes all the way back to the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks. It's one of my favorite films of all time. And I don't want to give the movie away if you haven't seen it. I recommend it because it's a beautiful tale of somebody who goes through something, has no control over anything, but still has to trust himself to get through it, just to find out when he gets back to the world, which is a little bit of a spoiler, but I don't want to tell you everything, but things were different. And for us, that is the beauty of us, is that we are islands. We do have to figure out how to survive on our own. If we think about, if we're here by ourselves, if you're alone and you had no one to help you, what would you do? What vibes would you have then? And once you figure that out, once you start trusting yourself, then you can realize, if you walk out into the water and you look underneath, you realize that island is not an island. It's connected. That's just the tip of a mountain under the water. You were never not connected. It just seemed that way. So the question wants to be, is that island a volcano? Is that island a mountain? Or is that island some prairie valley flatland that's just happened to be sticking a little bit out of the water? What part of that island is you? Are you on a raging volcano? Or are you on a peaceful oasis? Or are you just on a mountain, right in the neutral, right in between? Either way, you are free on that island. If someone was to view you from the ocean, it's free. But if that person jumped in the water and looked underneath, they would see that that island is connected to something else. Free, yet connected. And it goes back to the brave never fall motto. Through enduring hardships, the tears of pain I shed today will be the tears of joy I shed tomorrow. The brave never fall. We rise and maintain balance through freedom and connection. No matter how free we are still connected to, if nothing else, the rest of this world, which we cannot survive without. And that connection is what drives us each day to make the decisions we make, whether we want to interact or we want to detach and jettison any person, place, or thing that's not good for our lives if we feel that is the case. The question is where does the strength come from to even face those moments to begin with? And that answer lies in purpose. Even the people who say they have no purpose, there is purpose in that. What are you going to do if you have no purpose? Your purpose at that point is to survive without purpose. We have purpose within us whether we like it or not. The moment you took your first breath, you had purpose whether you liked it or not. Your story is going to be told whether you like it or not. Whether you paint the story yourself or someone else paints it. In fact, for any one life, if you ask 20 different people, you're going to have 20 different versions of your story based on what they viewed and what you viewed for your life. So really what counts is you viewing your life and being happy with it. It's you understanding that your presence has a vibe. That your presence isn't a flame that's going to be blown out and never relit. That you are not an island in the middle of the ocean that's not connected to anything. You're not a floating, wandering, rogue planet in the universe with no sun to orbit. That's not you. You are better than that. You are here for a reason. Your heart is beating in your chest for a reason. You're taking your next breath for a reason. When you look in the mirror, what you see, you're seeing for a reason. What you feel, you're feeling for a reason. And when we can tap into those moments, that is the strength and the character and the power that's going to push you forward every single day. Good, bad, and ugly, you're in control. You're in control because no moment comes before the next. without you being present in it. And if you're present at any second, that means there's a lot of seconds in a day where you're in control. When we get lost in the vastness of lack of hope, a lack of faith, a lack of physicality, a lack of action, a lack of laziness, if we want to make all the excuses in the world, there's plenty of people who will love to just cuddle up with you and do the exact same thing. If that's what you want, that's what you want. That is your vibe. That is your story. I sense that most people, you included, if you have the opportunity to change one thing in your life without any effort at all, it was just given to you, you would change it. So what is that one thing that you would change? That one thing that if somebody just said, hey, I'm going to change it right now for you without any effort put into it. What is that thing? And when you figure out what that thing is, you start working on it. You start changing that thing as if somebody is going to hand it to you for free. But you're going to enjoy it much, much better when you earn it. Your happiness, when it's earned, feels so much better. Your peace, when it's earned, feels so much better. Of course, people can walk up and hand us anything. That's not what we were meant to be. We had to earn everything in our lives just to get to the point where we're at, just by saying, okay, I'm going to eat today. I'm going to drink today. I'm not going to sleep all day. I'm going to find something to do today. I'm going to talk today. I'm going to learn today. I'm going to freaking do something each and every day that's going to make me improve to become a better person. And if you're not improving, then you're standing still. You're the utopian tree I talk about so much. That beautiful utopian tree at the top of the mountain. Can't go anywhere until somebody comes around with an axe, chops you down into little pieces, puts you in their fireplace, and burns you for firewood. Beautiful tree, a lot of growth, went nowhere. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. You still had purpose. You kept some people warm. You maybe even helped cook them some food. There's always purpose. That's why the choice is on you. You don't have to be the tree. You're the tree if you want to be the tree. If you want to stay still and look beautiful, you can. I tell people all the time, especially the people that I'm coaching, I'm not trying to force you to do anything. I'm just allowing you to understand that you do have options. And again, we go back to that forfeiting. If we're inactive with things that we should be active about, if we're waiting for somebody to walk up and put it in our hands, then why aren't we taking action and doing it ourselves? What type of vibes are we displaying if we're not getting the things that we want through inaction? What type of life are we living if we're not going to get up every day and work towards the things that we truly want? What type of lives are we living if we're going to wake up every day and not change the things that we don't like about ourselves? What type of lives are we living if we're going to keep people in our life that we're not aligned with? Where's the peace if you want peace? Where's the happiness if you wish for happiness? Where's the strength if you're feeling weak? Where's the money if you're feeling poor? Where's the path when you're feeling lost? We have to be active to answer those questions. Yes, we can stand still and ask them, but how are we going to get anything? We'll be waiting for people to bring it to us. That doesn't mean that it won't happen. People can bring you things. People often do. But what are we bringing to other people? Which is why there's a lot of trees that, in order to repopulate, they have the blossoms and blooms and seeds blow in the wind. Even a tree still gives. That's why I say you don't really have to go anywhere. But that just depends on what type of person you are. You can be the utopian tree. You don't have to go anywhere. You could be that. You could be the person that wanders around. You can be whatever you want to be. The question is, are we consistent every single day with who we truly want to be? And if you desire to be happy and you're not, maybe it's time to start moving. If you've been moving and you're not happy, maybe it's time to stand still. Unlike a tree, we have options. Unlike a tree, we can move, we can stop, we can evaluate, we can move again. We are here to explore everything about our lives in the limited amount of time that we have. I view every interaction I have with every person I meet as one of the most invaluable things I could have with a person. That's a connection. I'm free to walk away at any moment. I'm free to walk up at any moment. But it's that connection. It's that connection to people, places, and things that keeps me going. That keeps me at peace, that keeps me happy. I know this for myself, and it gives me purpose each day. When I deviate from that, that's when I don't feel whole. And it messes with my vibes, big time. Find your purpose, find your vibes, find your happiness, find your vibes. The positive ones, if you want it, is there for you. Always. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. We rise and maintain balance through freedom and connection. Salute.